talking like we used to do. It was always me and you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Baked Alaskan. Nicole's here with us today.
Hello.
It's my 100th episode.
Woo.
Fanfare, woo! And so for the 100th episode happened to fall on MS Monday, which I thought was very appropriate because that's the reason why I started my channel. I wanted to talk about chronic illness and to show how cannabis helps me and to maybe help other people see how cannabis could help them. And all the while trying to have a little bit of fun and introspection and, get to know myself a bit better, I guess. I also wanted to be a contributor to the cannabis community that I have watched on YouTube for a year or so. My two inspirations to get me to this point were Mary Loves Glass and Jane Drow. So that's a little bit about where this channel came from. And now I want to do a little interview with Nicole about MS and how it's affected her as a caregiver, as a spouse, as a friend. It's noisy. Newbies.
Just come right in here.
You gotta talk up, they're not gonna be able to hear you.
Okay.
Alright. So, Nicole's here today to give us a point of view, and I just have a few questions that are, I think, pertinent to our situation and maybe others that might, help them.
Mm-hmm.
So, then and now, what has changed in regards to me, our relationship, or your life since me being diagnosed with MS?
A lot of, probably the big two are fatigue, and just how tired you are all the time, at any time, any given time, really. And the insomnia, of course, which leads to the former. So both of those ones, you've always kind of had trouble sleeping. Our whole relationship, really, but never this bad.
Yeah. That's true.
So yeah, those are probably the big, and I guess my worry, which feeds into my anxiety about you and how you are and your well-being and what's going on, which is something I have to work on.
Okay. I can see that. Not that you have to work on it, but oh shit, stepped in that one, guys. What's your biggest challenge on a day-to-day basis or longer term?
Biggest challenge is not treating you like you need help with everything. I don't really want to say baby because it's not babying, but I feel like you always need help and you don't always need help. So I ask you a lot if you are okay. And, I don't, just because I need to check, I guess.
And that's good, right? I appreciate it. I certainly don't want to be babied or anything in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate when you ask because it gives me the option to realize if I'm in a situation that I do need help and I'm just being too stubborn to not accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But it also gives me the opportunity to say, no, Heather, you're a big girl. You can do this yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I do try. So.
But it's important too to be aware and kind of compassionate or empathetic over what you are actually feeling. And, it's not a matter of, it's a fine balance between, hey, suck it up, and it's
Yeah.
only 2 bags of groceries. What the hell's wrong with you? And
Some days a lot.
which is kind of cold, and I'm feeling to being too,
Yeah.
let me do this for you.
What do you do on a bad day for yourself, for me, for us?
I make sure you're as comfortable as you can be, or that we've taken whatever steps we need to make you as comfortable as you can be. If you're painkillers, whatever, if needed.
I'm just gonna hit this while you talk.
Okay. Or whether you need to have some cannabis or something, or when was the last time you had it. So yeah, I guess. And then, for us, I might make dinner versus when you would usually make dinner. And even on your bad days, you still sometimes make dinner, which is awesome. But
Rain or shine, I'm a chef.
yeah. For me, I would maybe take a bath or play some video games or watch some TV, play on my phone, take pictures of the cats.
That's true. The pictures with the cats and I'm on fire.
Play with the cats even, which I think is a often
Overlooked.
overlooked thing to do to make yourself feel better.
Totally. Which is more difficult for you in regards to me, bipolar or MS?
MS, I think. I mean, bipolar definitely has its challenges, but it's pretty much the same every time. And you're pretty textbook, so, and we now have sort of worked out the signs of when you're going, when a mood shift is going to happen, and we know how to deal with it when it gets there. And with MS, it's, in addition to the emotional aspect is the physical aspect, which is really friggin' scary. And what's that going to affect next? And you never know. I mean, just because it doesn't affect your legs now doesn't mean it's not going to. So
Yeah.
that's scary. The I guess the mortality of it. Versus bipolar, which is, yes, it can lead to some really serious things if it's not under control. But if it is under control, it's, there's a few difficult days here and there, or a few difficult weeks, but you always know it's going to come around. And you don't know that necessarily with MS.
Well, I have to disagree a little bit with the assumption that bipolar isn't that dangerous, because I have been in situations with bipolar where I have been very dangerous to myself.
Right.
And
Unmanaged.
uh,
Or getting to managed.
yeah, there was some really scary stuff when I was being diagnosed and being put on like Prozac, and you don't put somebody that's bipolar on Prozac because they have a manic episode. And but there have been times when I've just gotten sick. My depression has just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled, and it's nobody's fault. It's nothing that I done wrong. But I have been suicidal on a couple of occasions, and I'm sorry if that triggers anybody. But yeah, that to me is a distinct possibility with bipolar, and it is
Sure.
to me scarier, because I have felt what it feels like to be suicidal, and that's a lot more scary to me than to one day. Well, it's not really a lot more scary, but the feeling is more scary than to one day wake up and something is different or changed about myself. Because I don't know when that's going to happen or if it's going to happen. It might not ever happen. But with bipolar, it's kind of insidious and it's always there.
Mhm.
And yeah. So
Well, that's the shitty thing about our situation and your situation is that you're hit with both.
yeah.
And it sucks enough to have to deal with one or the other, and it's hard enough to have to deal with one or the other on their own, let alone being diagnosed with both.
Mhm.
So.
You ain't whistling Dixie there. Damn, you're popular on your tweeting today. No, I could hear it if it was across the room. Can you just?
Put it under my butt.
We're just gonna be hearing tweets all throughout. That's all right. What would be your advice to a spouse, a caretaker, a friend of somebody with MS or a chronic illness, even?
Be patient. It's hard to be patient sometimes, but
I'm kind of a handful.
but you have to be. And learning how to separate the disorder or the disease from the person is a lesson in itself, and then there's probably a few more lessons that I haven't learned yet. But yeah, be patient, be empathetic, and believe your spouse when they're telling you that they're not feeling well, or that they can't do that, or I understand. I don't know. I think the trick is to really believe that what you're saying, what you're telling me is, how you're actually feeling.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Well, What?
It's recording now.
25 seconds.
Finished. What were you saying? Oh my god. Ah!
Be patient. Be empathetic. Don't be an asshole.
And believe.
And believe your spouse or friend or relative.
Thank you everybody for joining us. This has been the 100th episode of the Baked Alaskan. We'll see you tomorrow.
Well, hold on, my darling. This mess was yours. Now your mess is mine.